The notification popped up on my phone like a tiny bomb. Watch now, Lily Chen's dream engagement! My sister's face beamed from the live stream thumbnail, perfectly posed against a backdrop of champagne and roses. I almost scrolled past it, but my thumb froze mid-swipe. I'm Autumn, and I've spent the last decade building my event planning business while watching my baby sister collect accolades for breathing. Now here she was, broadcasting her latest triumph to the world. Derek and I are just overwhelmed by all the love. Lily's voice tinkled through my phone's speaker. She tilted her head just so, diamond earrings catching the light. And of course, we have to thank Mommy and Daddy for offering to host the most spectacular wedding Silicon Valley has ever seen. My coffee went cold as I watched her detail plans that would make British royalty blush. 1,000 guests, custom everything, 3 separate celebrations spanning a week. The comment section exploded with heart emojis and congratulations. We've already secured the perfect wedding planner, Lily continued, and my stomach clenched. The amazing Maya Winchester herself has agreed to oversee everything. The phone slipped from my fingers, clattering onto my desk. Maya Winchester, Derek's mother, my direct competitor. Hey, boss, you okay? Sophia poked her head into my office. You look like you've seen a ghost. Just my sister announcing her engagement. I forced a smile. And casually destroying my reputation in the process. Sophia's eyes widened as she checked the stream. Maya Winchester? But your parents know you're one of the top planners in the area. Why would they? Because it's Lily, I said, the words tasting bitter. And Lily gets whatever Lily wants. My phone buzzed again. A text from my mother. Family dinner tonight, non-negotiable. Your sister has news to share. You're not actually going, are you? Sophia asked, reading over my shoulder. I started gathering my things. Of course I am. I've spent years playing the good daughter, showing up when summoned, smiling through their constant comparisons, but maybe it's time for a change. Autumn. Sophia's voice held a warning note. Don't worry, I said, sliding on my jacket. I'm just going to congratulate my dear sister, and maybe ask a few innocent questions about her choice of wedding planner. The last time you used that tone, we lost 3 major clients, and gained 5 better ones. I checked my reflection in the window, adjusting my expression to something appropriately sisterly. Sometimes you have to break things to fix them properly. My phone buzzed again. Lily this time. Big sis, can't wait to see you tonight. I have the most amazing favor to ask. Of course she did. That's how it always worked. Lily asks, everyone jumps. Well, not this time. I'd spent years watching her take and take, watching our parents enable every whim while I built my success brick by brick. Now she was trying to take my professional reputation too? Cancel my appointments for tomorrow, I told Sophia. I have a feeling tonight's dinner is going to require some recovery time. Please don't do anything crazy, Sophia called after me as I headed for the door. I paused, one hand on the doorframe. Crazy would be letting them steamroll me again. This time, I'm going to handle things differently. The elevator doors closed on Sophia's concerned face. As I descended toward the parking garage, I pulled up Maya Winchester's website on my phone. Time to do some research on my sister's new wedding planner. After all, families should know everything about each other, right? My lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. Tonight's dinner was going to be interesting. And maybe, just maybe, it would be the last time anyone underestimated Autumn Chen. The Chen family home loomed before me, all glass and steel and perfect angles. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I could see them already gathered. Mother arranging flowers, father checking his watch, Lily holding court from the center of the sofa. Derek sat beside her, one arm draped possessively across her shoulders. I smoothed my blazer and pressed the doorbell. The chime hadn't finished echoing before Lily yanked the door open. Finally! She pulled me into a suffocating hug that smelled of expensive perfume. I've been dying to tell you everything in person. I saw the live stream, I said, extracting myself. Congratulations. Oh, that was just the pre-announcement. Wait until you hear the rest. She dragged me inside, past our mother's tepid smile and father's distracted nod. Derek rose to greet me, all perfect teeth and calculated charm. Autumn, always a pleasure. I hear you've been doing quite well in the event planning business. Well enough. I accepted the glass of wine Mother pressed into my hand. Though not quite at Maya Winchester's level, apparently. Lily's smile flickered. About that, I hope you understand. Maya just has so many connections, and with Derek being her son. Of course. I sipped my wine. Family first, right? Father cleared his throat. Speaking of family matters, your sister has some exciting news about the wedding budget. Daddy's being so generous, Lily gushed. But we still need a teensy favor from you, sis. There it was. I set my glass down carefully. What kind of favor? Well, Lily exchanged glances with Derek. We know you have those amazing connections with luxury vendors. If you could just introduce us, maybe help negotiate some family discounts. For Maya's event? The words tasted like acid. It would mean so much, Derek added smoothly. And of course, we'd credit your contribution in all the press coverage. Mother touched my arm. Your sister only wants to include you, dear. Isn't that thoughtful? I looked around the room, at Lily's practiced innocence, Derek's calculating smile, our parents' expectant faces. A lifetime of memories crashed through my mind. Lily's dance recitals while I worked part-time jobs, her graduation party that drained my college fund, every Christmas where her pile of gifts towered over mine. Actually, I said, I have some news too. I pulled out my phone, pulled up the article I'd found earlier. Did you know Maya Winchester's company is under investigation for financial irregularities? Derek's hand tightened on Lily's shoulder. Our father frowned. That's just industry gossip, Derek said quickly. Nothing substantial. Really? Because according to this, several high-profile clients have filed complaints about misappropriated funds. Autumn! Mother cut in sharply. This is hardly appropriate dinner conversation. No? I scrolled further. What about the lawsuit from last year? The one that was quietly settled out of court? Lily's face had lost its glow. Why are you doing this? Doing what? I thought we were sharing important family information. I turned to Derek. Speaking of which, how's that audit of your trust fund going? He stood abruptly. I think we should go. But we haven't even had dinner, Mother protested. Another time. Derek practically pulled Lily to her feet. Thank you for having us. They fled like smoke, leaving silence in their wake. Father turned to me, his face thunderous. What exactly do you think you're doing? Protecting the family reputation. I stood, gathering my things. Since no one else seems concerned about it. By attacking your sister's future mother-in-law? By trying to ruin her special moment? I laughed, sharp and hollow. Her special moment? When has any moment in this family not been about Lily? That's enough. Mother's voice cracked like a whip. If you can't be supportive, perhaps you shouldn't be involved in the wedding at all. Don't worry, I said, heading for the door. I won't be. Autumn. Father's voice stopped me. If you walk out now, there will be consequences. I turned back one last time, taking in the house, the parents, the life I'd never quite fit into. There already have been. For years. I opened the door. But now it's my turn to decide what they'll be. The door closed behind me with a satisfying click. My phone buzzed. A text from Lily. How dare you embarrass me like that? You've ruined everything. I smiled in the darkness. No, little sister, I whispered. I'm just getting started. The charity gala buzzed with Silicon Valley's elite, but I couldn't tear my eyes from the security footage playing on my tablet. There, in grainy black and white, Lily slipped into my office after hours, Derek keeping watch outside. The timestamp read 2 a.m., 3 days ago. You need to see this, I told Sophia, sliding the tablet across our corner table. She watched, face hardening. That explains the missing client files, but why would they— Autumn! Lily's voice cut through the crowd. She glided toward us in designer silk, Derek trailing behind. I didn't expect to see you here. Funny, I said. I was about to say the same thing. This is my event, after all. Derek's smile tightened. Maya recommended we attend. Networking, you understand. Of course. I gestured to the tablet. Speaking of business, I'd love your thoughts on my new security system. Lily's champagne glass trembled slightly. I'm sure that's fascinating, but we actually need to discuss the wedding. There's been a slight complication with the venue. The Four Seasons backed out, Derek added. Something about a double booking. I kept my expression neutral. How unfortunate. especially since I just spoke with their events director this morning. She mentioned something about payment irregularities. That's ridiculous, Lily snapped. Daddy handled all the deposits. Did he? I pulled out my phone. Because according to these transfer records, the money came from my company's client trust account. The color drained from Derek's face. Lily grabbed his arm. There must be some mistake, she said quickly. Why don't we discuss this privately? Let's. I stood, nodding to Sophia. The security office should be nice and quiet. They followed me through service corridors to a small room lined with monitors. I locked the door. Start talking, I said, and make it good. It's not what you think, Derek began, but Lily cut him off. We needed emergency capital, she blurted. Maya's company is underwater, Derek's trust fund is frozen, and the wedding deposits. So you stole from me? The words felt like glass in my throat. Your own sister? Borrowed! Lily's eyes welled up. We were going to pay it back before anyone noticed, but then you had to start digging, and now everything's falling apart. Derek stepped forward. We can make this right. Maya has connections. Maya has nothing, I interrupted, except mounting lawsuits and a reputation that's about to implode. Want to guess who sent those anonymous tips to her investors? Understanding dawned in Lily's eyes. You wouldn't. Try me. I unlocked the door. You have 24 hours to return every penny. After that, I start making calls. To who? Derek's voice had lost its smooth edge. The police? Worse. I smiled. The press. I wonder how many society weddings Maya will book once people know she's been cooking the books? Lily grabbed my arm. Please, you can't. Mom and Dad will finally see who you really are. I pulled free. Tick-tock, little sister. They fled, leaving behind the scent of desperation and expensive perfume. Sophia appeared in the doorway. That was cold, she said quietly. No. I watched Lily and Derek hurry through the gala, faces tight with panic. Cold was stealing from family. Cold was choosing Maya over me. This? I closed the security footage window. This is just business. My phone buzzed. A text from our father. Your sister's crying. What have you done now? Another buzz. Mother. Family meeting, tomorrow, non-negotiable. I showed Sophia the messages. Want to bet they try to guilt me into dropping this? And you'll say? The answer crystallized. Years of swallowed anger finally finding their voice. I'll say it's time they chose which daughter they're really willing to lose. Sophia touched my shoulder. Are you sure about this? Once you start down this road. They started this road, I said, watching Lily and Derek disappear into the crowd. I'm just making sure they reach the end of it. My phone buzzed one final time. An email from Maya Winchester herself. We should talk, privately. I smiled, remembering the files I'd found during my late-night research. Oh yes, I murmured. We definitely should. The gala continued below, champagne flowing, music playing, while upstairs in a quiet security office, I began drafting the email that would start the avalanche. Sometimes revenge doesn't need screaming or violence. Sometimes it just needs patience, precision, and the perfect moment to push the first domino. Maya's office felt like a trap, all sleek surfaces and strategic shadows. She sat behind her glass desk, perfectly composed, while I remained standing. 3 clients called to cancel this morning, I said, dropping their termination letters on her desk. Interesting timing. The market's volatile. Maya's smile never reached her eyes. I heard your sister's venue fell through as well. Shame. Cut the act. We both know what's happening. Do we? She leaned forward. Because from where I sit, I see a jealous sister trying to sabotage a wedding. How do you think that plays in the press? My phone buzzed. Another client cancellation. Then another. The screen kept lighting up until I switched it off. Impressive reach, I said. But you missed something in your background check. I don't scare easily. No? Maya opened a folder. Your biggest client, the Thompson wedding, they just signed with me. Along with the Hendersons, the Blakes. She slid contracts across the desk. Your reputation's bleeding out, Autumn, but I can stop it. For a price. Let me guess. Back off from Lily and Derek? Smart girl. She stood, circling her desk. Family should protect family. Isn't that what your parents always taught you? The laugh escaped before I could stop it. That's rich coming from you. Does Derek know about the offshore accounts? Or how you've been funneling his trust fund through shell companies? Maya's composure cracked, just for a second. Where did you... I'm not the only one with enemies. I pulled out my phone, showing her an email. Ethan sends his regards. Ethan? Her eyes narrowed. That hack who you destroyed 3 years ago. He's been gathering evidence ever since, waiting for the right moment. The door opened. Sophia walked in with Ethan, both carrying laptops. The transfers are all here, Ethan said, setting up his screen. Every penny you stole, every client you defrauded, including your own son. Maya's hand trembled as she reached for her phone. Security. Won't come, Sophia cut in. They're busy with the federal agents in the lobby. You're bluffing. I smiled. Check your accounts. She did. The color drained from her face as she scrolled. This is impossible. How did you... The same way you've been destroying my business. One call at a time. I moved closer. But here's the difference. I'm not here to destroy you. I'm here to make a deal. What kind of deal? You back off. Completely. Let Lily and Derek's house of cards collapse on its own. In return, this evidence stays buried. And if I refuse, then tomorrow's headlines write themselves. Society wedding planner arrested in massive fraud scheme. Your choice. The silence stretched. Finally, Maya sank into her chair. What do you want? Everything you have on Lily and Derek's finances, and your resignation from the wedding. They'll never forgive you for this. They never forgave me for existing. I gathered my things. You have an hour to decide. After that, Ethan's evidence goes public. Outside, Sophia grabbed my arm. That was dangerous! If she calls your bluff, she won't. I watched through the glass as Maya frantically worked her phone. Because it's not a bluff, Ethan? He nodded. The feds are already moving on the offshore accounts. They just needed confirmation she was in the office. My phone buzzed again. A text from Lily. Maya just quit. What did you do? Then from Derek, we need to talk now. And finally, from my father. Your mother's in tears. Come home immediately. I showed the messages to Sophia. Phase 1 complete. And Phase 2? Through the glass, I watched Maya crumble as her empire collapsed. Now we let them tear each other apart trying to save themselves. Autumn? Sophia hesitated. Are you sure you want to see this through? Once they start falling, they'll all come down together. I turned away from Maya's office. That's the point. The elevator doors closed on the sound of Maya's muffled sobs. My phone kept buzzing with messages I wouldn't answer. Sometimes revenge isn't about what you do. It's about what you set in motion, then step back and watch unfold. The bridal shower invitation sat on my desk like a loaded gun. Lily's perfect handwriting, mother's mansion as the venue, tomorrow's date. A last-minute addition to the wedding festivities, hastily arranged after 3 other venues mysteriously canceled. My phone lit up with Ethan's message. Derek just tried accessing his trust fund again. Denied. I forwarded the screenshot to Maya, adding only, TikTok. The reply came instantly. You're destroying my son. You did that yourself, I typed back. Then turned off my phone. Sophia burst into my office, face flushed. Lily's here. Here? I stood as my sister swept in, designer handbag clutched like a shield. What did you say to Maya? Lily's voice shook. Derek can't access any of his accounts. The caterer just dropped out, and half the guest list is sending regrets. Sounds stressful. I kept my voice neutral. Maybe you should postpone. Postpone? She slammed her hands on my desk. This is your fault, isn't it? You're sabotaging everything because you're jealous. Jealous? I pulled out the file I'd been building. Or maybe I'm tired of covering up your lies. Like these credit card charges to my business account. Lily's face went white. I can explain. Save it. I slid another document forward. Or should we discuss the loans you took out in my name? You don't understand, she whispered. Derek's trust fund was supposed to clear. Maya promised. Yeah. Maya's broke. The words hit her like slaps. Her company's failing. Derek's inheritance is gone, and you're all drowning in debt. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Please, you have to help me. If Mom and Dad find out... Find out what? A new voice cut in. Our father stood in the doorway, Mother beside him. Lily spun around. Daddy, I was just... Showing me the bridal shower plans, I interrupted smoothly, watching her shoulders sag with relief. Father stepped forward. Actually, we're here about the vendors. Karen, show her. Mother pulled out her phone, displaying a series of emails. My emails, orchestrating the systematic dismantling of Lily's wedding plans. Explain yourself, Father demanded. I leaned back, oddly calm. Why don't you ask Lily about the money she stole first? That's different, Lily protested. I was desperate. Desperate enough to commit fraud? Mother gasped. Father's face darkened. What fraud? I pushed the file toward them. See for yourself. Every transaction, every forged signature, every lie. You promised you wouldn't tell, Lily shrieked. Like you promised to pay it back? I stood. Like Maya promised your perfect wedding? Like Derek promised he had money? Enough! Father slammed his hand down. This ends now. Autumn, you will fix this mess. Release whatever hold you have on the vendors. Stop interfering with Derek's accounts. Or what? The question hung in the air. You'll take away my inheritance? Cut me off? Newsflash? I built everything I have while you were bankrolling Lily's disasters. How dare you? Mother began. No, how dare you? I cut her off. For years, I watched you clean up her messes, excuse her lies, enable her schemes. Well, guess what? I'm done protecting her. Done protecting all of you. What are you saying? Father's voice went dangerously quiet. I met his gaze. I'm saying your perfect daughter is a fraud. Her perfect fiancé is broke. And in about... I checked my watch. 3 hours, everyone at the bridal shower will know too. You wouldn't, Lily breathed. Try me. I gathered my things. Oh, and Maya sends her regards. She's very interested in keeping certain financial records private. I wonder what she'll do when they go public. This isn't you, Mother pleaded. You're not this cruel. I paused at the door. You're right. The cruel one was always Lily. I'm just better at it. Their voices followed me down the hall. Lily's sobs, Father's demands, Mother's protests. But for the first time in years, they couldn't touch me. Sometimes burning bridges isn't about destruction. Sometimes it's about lighting your way forward. My phone buzzed again. Ethan, everything's ready. Are you sure? I typed back one word. Now. The dominoes were falling. All I had to do was watch. The engagement party sparkled with false perfection. Mother had outdone herself, transforming the garden into a fairy tale setting that almost masked the desperation beneath. I watched from the shadows as Lily worked the crowd, her smile brittle as glass. Last chance to back out, Sophia whispered beside me. I checked my phone. Ethan's message glowed. Files uploaded. Ready when you are. The microphone squealed as Derek took center stage, champagne flute raised. I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight, especially my beautiful fiancé's family, who've welcomed me so warmly. My father beamed. Mother dabbed her eyes. I stepped forward, thumb hovering over my phone. To new beginnings, Derek continued, and to the incredible generosity of the Chen family. Speaking of generosity, I cut in, my voice carrying across the garden, why don't we discuss exactly how generous my family's been? The crowd parted. Lily's face went slack with horror. Autumn, Father warned. Not now. Actually, now's perfect. I nodded to Sophia, who activated the garden's projection screens. Everyone's here to celebrate, right? Let's celebrate the truth. The first document appeared. Bank statements showing systematic theft from my company. Then credit card statements in my name, signed by Lily. Finally, Derek's empty trust fund records and Maya's company's bankruptcy filings. Stop this! Maya stepped forward, but froze when her own financial records appeared. The crowd murmured. Phones came out, recording everything. You see, I addressed the guests. This perfect couple built their fairy tale on fraud. Every vendor payment bounced. Every account is empty. And the money they stole, that was mine. She's lying, Lily screamed, but her mascara was already running. Derek lunged for the projection controls, but Ethan blocked his path. Touch it, and the files go public. You're ruining everything, Mother sobbed. No, I corrected her. They did that themselves. I'm just showing everyone who they really are. The garden erupted in chaos. Guests whispered and pointed. Several prominent society members quietly slipped away. Derek's business partners huddled in corners, faces dark with anger. "I'll never forgive you for this," Lily hissed, grabbing my arm. "Like I'll never forgive you for stealing from me? For letting them favor you while I worked myself to death?" "Is that what this is about?" Father's voice boomed. "Childhood jealousy?" "This is about consequences," I shot back. "Something none of you understand." Derek suddenly laughed, the sound ugly and sharp. "You think you've won? Tell them about the offshore accounts, Autumn. Tell them where their money really went." My blood froze. "What? You're not the only one who can dig up secrets." He pulled out his phone. "Remember that investment fund you managed last year? The one that mysteriously lost everything?" The crowd's attention shifted. Now they were watching me. "That's different," I stammered. "I was protecting yourself?" Derek smirked. "Face it, you're just like us. Maybe worse. At least we admit what we are." Sophia grabbed my arm. "We need to go, now." But I couldn't move. The faces around me blurred. Accusation, disappointment, disgust. My phone buzzed with incoming messages from clients, board members, partners, all asking the same questions Derek had raised. "You wanted truth?" Lily's voice dripped venom. "There it is. My perfect sister, the successful businesswoman, is just another fraud." The projection screens went dark. In the sudden silence, I heard my mother crying, saw my father turn away, watched as everything I'd built began to crumble. "Autumn." Sophia tugged harder. "The police are coming." Maya called them. I let her pull me toward the exit, Derek's laughter following us into the darkness. My phone kept buzzing. Notifications of clients canceling, contracts being reviewed, investigations being opened. In the car, Sophia broke the silence. "What do we do now?" I stared at my reflection in the window, barely recognizing myself. The revenge I'd planned so carefully had backfired spectacularly. In trying to expose their lies, I'd revealed my own. "Now?" My laugh sounded hollow even to me. "Now we see who's better at surviving the fall." My phone lit up with one final message. From Ethan. "There's something else you need to see, about all of us." The night stretched ahead, dark and uncertain. I'd wanted to destroy my sister's perfect world, but maybe I'd destroyed my own instead. Sometimes revenge is like a boomerang. It comes back to hit you hardest of all. Ethan's office felt like a tomb at midnight, all shadows and humming servers. The screens before us showed transaction after transaction, a web of financial deceit spanning years. "It wasn't just Derek," Ethan said quietly. "Look." My father's signature appeared on document after document. Then Maya's, my mother's. Even Lily's teenage accounts showed suspicious patterns. "They've been doing this for years," I whispered. "To everyone. Including you." Sophia touched my shoulder. "Those lost investments Derek mentioned? They were already gone. Your family took them." The door opened. Maya stood there, Derek behind her. "I wondered how long it would take you to find it," Maya said, stepping inside. "The family business." "Fraud is the family business?" "Empire building." Derek's smile was razor sharp. "Why do you think your father pushed you into finance? We needed someone clean, someone legitimate." "To hide behind," I finished. "While you stole from everyone." "While we survived," Maya corrected. "But you had to start digging, had to push for revenge." "Where's Lily?" "Safe," Derek said. "Unlike you." Sophia moved toward the door, but Derek blocked her path. "Nobody's leaving until we fix this." "Fix what?" I gestured at the screens. "Your entire lives are built on theft. And yours isn't?" Maya pulled out her phone. "Should we discuss what really happened to your mother's inheritance? The one you managed into oblivion?" My hands clenched. "That was different." "Was it?" Derek circled closer. "Face it, Autumn. You're just like us. The only difference is, we embraced it." "I'm nothing like you!" "No?" Maya smiled. "Then why did you help us launder money through your company for years? Even if you didn't know it then, you know now, and you're still here." The truth hit like a physical blow. Every transaction I'd processed, every account I'd managed, I'd been their unwitting accomplice. "Here's what's going to happen," Derek said. You'll sign these papers transferring your company to us. In return, we keep your involvement quiet. And if I refuse, then we all go down together." He spread his hands. Family style. My phone buzzed. A message from Lily. "Don't trust them. Storage room. Now." "I need a minute," I said. "To do what?" Maya stepped forward. "To decide if I want to destroy my sister's life or save it." Derek and Maya exchanged glances. 5 minutes, Maya said. "Then we do this my way." I found Lily in the storage room, surrounded by boxes of files. "They killed Dad's partner," she blurted out. 10 years ago. The accident wasn't an accident." My world tilted. "What?" "I found the proof." She held up a flash drive. "They're planning the same for you. Clean, legitimate, expendable." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I hate you," she said simply. "But I hate them more. They've controlled us our whole lives, playing us against each other, making us think we were choosing sides when they chose everything." Footsteps approached. Lily pressed the drive into my hand. "Whatever you do with this," she whispered, "make it hurt." I slipped back into the office just as Derek's patience expired. "Time's up," he said. "What's it going to be?" I looked at Maya, seeing her clearly for the first time. "You know what your mistake was? Teaching us that family means loyalty. What are you—" I hit send on my phone. Every screen in the office lit up with decades of evidence. Not just financial fraud, but emails discussing the accident, plans for more, a dynasty built on destruction. "You taught us too well," I said as sirens wailed in the distance. "About survival, about family, about revenge." Maya lunged for the computers, but Sophia blocked her. Derek reached for his phone, finding it dead. "What have you done?" Maya whispered. "Exactly what you taught us to do." I smiled as federal agents swarmed the building. I chose family. Through the chaos, I caught Lily's eye across the room. For the first time in years, we shared the same expression. Not quite a smile, not quite forgiveness, but something like understanding. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't destroying your enemies. It's becoming exactly what they made you, then turning it back on them. The agents read rights, snapped handcuffs, seized computers, and in the midst of it all, 2 sisters stood apart, finally free of the shadows they'd been raised in. The courthouse steps felt colder than they should in summer. I watched Maya and Derek being led away in handcuffs, their designer clothes exchanged for prison orange. My father had already been processed, my mother under house arrest. Lily stood apart from everyone, arms wrapped around herself. "The restitution papers are ready," Sophia said, holding out a folder. "Once you sign, the company's yours again." I took the folder but didn't open it. "And the victims?" "The FBI recovered most of the money. Your testimony sealed it." Reporters swarmed the courthouse entrance, hungry for another soundbite about the family that had defrauded Silicon Valley's elite. I turned away, catching Lily's eye. She crossed the distance between us. "I heard you refused immunity." "It wasn't mine to take. But you could have walked away clean. When were we ever clean?" The folder felt heavy in my hands. They raised us to be weapons against each other. I'm done playing that game. "So what happens now?" Before I could answer, Ethan appeared with more paperwork. "They're ready for your statement about the partner's death." Lily flinched. I touched her arm, the first gentle contact between us in years. "Go. I'll handle this." "Why?" Her voice cracked. "After everything?" "Because that's what they never understood. Real power isn't about controlling people. It's about choosing when to let go." She nodded once, then walked away. I watched her disappear into a waiting car, wondering if it was the last time I'd see my sister. "The press wants to know if you'll keep the company name," Sophia said. I handed her the restitution folder, unsigned. "Give it to the victims' fund. All of it." "Autumn? I built it once. I can build it again." I turned to Ethan. "Unless that partnership offer still stands." He smiled. "Different name, clean slate. That's what I want." I looked back at the courthouse, at the reporters still circling like vultures. Something new, something ours. The sun broke through the clouds, warming the cold stone steps. My phone buzzed. A message from my mother. Please come home, we can fix this. I deleted it without responding. Some things couldn't be fixed. Some shouldn't be. Ready? Sophia asked. I took one last look at the courthouse, thinking of Maya's empire, Derek's schemes, my parents' manipulation, all those years of competing for love that was never real, fighting for approval that came with strings. You know what the strangest part is? I said as we walked away. I thought revenge would feel like winning, but it just feels like freedom. Ethan held open the car door. Where to? I slid inside, leaving behind the courthouse, the cameras, the weight of family expectations. Forward! The car pulled away from the curb. Through the rear window, I caught a glimpse of Lily watching from her car. She raised her hand. Not quite a wave, not quite a goodbye. I raised mine in return. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. Sometimes it's about destroying the cage they built around you, even if you helped build it yourself. My phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. You were right. About everything. L. I smiled, thinking of the unsigned restitution papers, the fresh start ahead. The truth was, I hadn't won. None of us had. But maybe that was the point. The city spread out before us, full of possibilities. Sophia was already sketching plans for the new company. Ethan was talking about markets we could explore. I let their voices wash over me, feeling lighter with each block we drove. The need for revenge had driven me here, but something else would drive me forward, something that felt like hope. The car turned toward the future, leaving the shadows of the past behind, not forgotten, but finally powerless.